Hey guys, I'm outside with Maya, Daredevil Maya, wanting to literally be on the edge of the sidewalk. Come on. Come here, you're scaring me. You're probably scaring your mom. She's over there in the car. She'll probably see us standing over here on the edge. Well, I didn't know we weren't supposed to be down here, so now we gotta climb across this chain. Come here. Say. Good girl. She actually stayed when I said stay, which is kind of surprising. I think she realized that I had a barrier to cross. She's been surprising me. She's such a good girl. She's 100% potty trained. She's always been potty trained. It's just always been me that didn't get her out enough. And I bought pee pads when we lived in houses, in homes, and she would use them, obviously, but she would still cry and beg to go out. Now it's getting dark and hard to see, but it's kind of pretty out here. It's the night before Christmas Eve, and I'm just hanging out at the park. But other than the wind, hopefully you can hear me, I wanted to talk about our van situation and our plan, but at the same time, I don't want to jinx anything, and maybe just thinking that causes a problem, but I've gone back and forth, and I think Sierra has as well. Sierra, if you don't know, is my partner, and she will be living in the van with me. So there will be two of us, a dog, this dog, Maya, a small dog, and our cat. And it'd be nice to have a minivan for the gas mileage, and the fact that it's not common for people to live out of them, so people aren't going to automatically assume that two women in a minivan are living out of it. More than likely we'll just think we're moms or something. I don't know. We're not moms, except for to our pets. And I'm sorry about the quality, it's getting dark, but I want to talk about this real quick. So there's aspects of a minivan that would be very nice, and I wish they could be combined with the aspects of a full-size van, but that's just not how it works. There's pros and cons to both, and we have to just figure out which one would be best for us. And sorry, right now, in my mind right now, I'm leaning towards a full-size van, but at the same time, I am not finding any full-size vans within our price range like I was. Okay, it's really windy. Like I was when I was looking at minivans. The minivans that were nice were at the top and maxed out our budget, but there were at least minivans that we could potentially test drive, and they weren't too far of a drive. Most of them were up to an hour away. She wants to go over here again. If you watch my other videos, she just walks right through. But okay, now I have to pee, and I'm out here at the park. Not that you guys want to know that or care, but whew, it's not a good feeling. I just need to get a van, because if I had a van, I could walk back to the van, discreetly climb in the back, and use my lookable loo, which I already have. We ended up buying that initially. It was a very small investment. We thought we were going to have a van a lot sooner than now. We've been in our car since September 3rd. It's now December 23rd, so in just a little over a week, it'll be 4 months of living out of our two-door car. But back to the vans. I can't remember where I was at because I got distracted by having to pee and the dog. So right now a full-size van is what I was talking about. Would work best for space, and from what people have told me online, which I don't always want to believe people online. That's not a good line to be like, well, they told me this, so it must be true. But people with experience with Chrysler vehicles, and another man that said he maintained a fleet at one of his jobs that he had, and they had both full-size vans, specifically Chevrolet Express, which is what I really want. Hang on, I'm going to try to move my camera. Try to move my microphone away from the wind. But anyways, he had both. They maintained them, and by far the full-size van is much more reliable. You can easily get 200,000 miles, 300,000 miles. I've actually seen vans at the auction, which I would never buy, but there was a Chevy Express that had 400,000 miles on it and still ran. It was at the auction, so God only knows what was wrong with it. So I wasn't going to buy it there. But, so, for reliability, people said that Chrysler vans, which would be the Chrysler Town & Country, and even the Dodge Grand Caravan, because it's part of Chrysler Dodge Jeep type thing, they are notorious for having... Now she has me walking back this way again. They are notorious for having transmission issues and needing to have the transmissions replaced before 100,000 miles. Well, in our case, we had a mileage cap for the minivan at 120 miles. 120,000 miles was our cap. But based on what people are telling me, is that with those minivans, sometimes you get lucky and you can get one that can go over 200,000 miles without an issue. But those specific Chrysler minivans have had a slew of transmission issues, and that's one thing you'd have to account for, is potentially replacing the transmission early on, especially if you're buying something already with 100,000 miles on it. I don't know why she keeps trying to go through here. We're gonna have to... Come on! I'm just gonna walk this way. I like being over here because nobody can hear what I'm saying. There's nobody walking over here. It is dark, and I apologize, so hopefully you can still see the dog. But what I'm trying to say is, for reliability of transmissions, it sounds like a full-size van is going to be best. So, obviously parts are going to cost more. An oil change... She's just annoying me now. Come on. An oil change is going to cost more for a full-size van. Everything's going to cost more in the long run to fix it, I mean, compared to a minivan, because a minivan is just like a unibody type car, where a full-size van is on a truck chassis type thing. So maintenance would be a little bit more in a full-size van. With that in mind, I've been going back and forth between a minivan and a full-size van, and at this moment I'm thinking full-size van for space and reliability of the transmission. But on the other hand, the price of a full-size van up front is easily double that of a minivan, if not more. And we just don't have that money up front right now to buy a full-size van without some type of like fiscal intervention or something. Or buying an older model and just praying that it's not gonna give us problems immediately. I'm gonna go back over here and try to find some light so you can actually see her, but anyway, I guess I could just sit down and talk to you guys face to face, with the face to camera anyway. I've been wanting to get out this video for a while. I've been talking about the same subject. This is the third video I've made talking about this subject. I'm trying to go over it in my mind while talking and walking the dog. And I just keep going back and forth on minivan and full-size van. And I didn't want to jinx it. Come on, let's not pee in the kids' area. Come on. I didn't want to jinx it and say we're going back to full-size van, because at this rate, I really don't know. I keep saying to Sierra that if we find... Wait, what does this sign say? It's like a notice sign. Oh well. Come on, we're not playing in the playground. Oh, it says it's not sanitized. Play at your own risk. Okay. Well, we weren't playing. There was more stuff I wanted to talk about, but the main point is deciding between a minivan and a full-size van. Let me start turning on this light. See her a little bit? No, she just looks reflective now. The only issue I'm concerned about is the miles, the MPG of a full-size van being really low, actually, because our car, I'm thinking that we have a gas leak because I've smelled gas underneath the car pretty much since we've lived out of it, and I haven't addressed it because this whole time I was thinking that we're going to get out of it soon. So our car right now is having issues, and it definitely needs, it's parked right over there, it definitely needs new brakes. But our gas mileage is only about 19 miles per gallon in that car, which before we lived in it, when I guess I have to take into account that I was just driving on the highway and I wasn't idling, but I was getting easily 28 miles to the gallon. So I've lost almost 10, pretty much 9 miles to the gallon MPG I've lost. But I also have to consider the fact that we are in it 24/7, and since it's cold in Michigan on the cold nights, I do idle it for a little bit. So it's idling an hour to 2 hours, like at least an hour a day of just idling. So that could be a gallon of gas right there, a couple gallons, I don't even know. All I know is our MPG in this car is 19, so I can only imagine what it would be like in a full-size van if we were using the engine and running the heat in the van. When we were talking about attempting to buy a minivan, we were just gonna put some foam in the back of it and our blankets that we already have. She is too brave. You can't even tell, but that's pretty far down. That's a good 10 feet easily, if not more. We were gonna just see how it did overnight in the minivan without any extra heat sources other than the vehicle itself. So I don't know if we're gonna still do that in a full-size van if that's what we buy, but we're gonna have to figure something out. I think we're gonna buy, sorry, my battery's actually low now, so it's probably about time to end this video, but I think we're gonna buy a Wave 3 catalytic heater to use to heat up the back of the van. I would like to use a diesel heater, but with the diesel heater you have to have a source of power, so we'd have to have 12 volts. We'd immediately need to have solar or have it connected to a battery. I just heard a dog bark. So you'd have to have it connected to power, whereas the propane heater, you just have to have a source of propane. And then with the diesel heater, you also have to have a tank for the diesel if it's not connected to a vehicle that's diesel already, which we're not going to buy a diesel. So we'd have to have a tank mounted in the van, either type of van we get. And then you have to vent it out. You'd have to drill a hole in the van for the exhaust. So with all that in mind, we're going to choose probably the propane because we can build a box or something and vent it out either way. But potentially we were just going to put the propane tank, get up here, the propane tank on the back of the van on like a hitch rack type thing, and just put a luggage bag over top of it or something just to make it less discernible, just so it's not like, oh, there's a random propane tank. But I also worry about if someone were to potentially rear end us, if that would cause a really bad issue. So that's another thing to keep in mind. I'm just going on and on in my head, rambling about this now, but those are the issues I'm having. And then the pros of the diesel heater over the propane heater would be that it's dry heat. so it would dry out the van, and it'd also be forced air so that it would actually have some hot air circulating, whereas the propane catalytic heater, it'll take a minute for it to warm up, and then it'll start to warm up the van, but you have to be careful about venting it and making sure that it's not building up a whole bunch of moisture. But I'll probably talk about this more in a face-to-face video. My phone's going dead and there's more that I want to talk about, so I'm going to end it right here. Hope you guys are having a great night. We're going to try to load up and get warm again. So I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate all my new subscribers, and hopefully I don't do you wrong and I can upload many more videos for you guys to watch. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys later. Alright, bye.